Hello and welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast. I'm Kimberly Dondo, Digital Content Manager, and this week we have reporter Darius McQuaid with his Weekend Essay podcast on how workplaces can help reduce the advice gap. Take it away, Darius.
Financial advisors may not agree on whether an advice gap exists, but a lot of those I've spoken to do agree there are many people who want financial advice but cannot afford to pay for it. I've only been a reporter at Money Marketing for 8 months, so obviously I'm not going to be able to solve this issue, and I can't tell advisors what to do to narrow the gap. I recently, however, did have a conversation with a financial planner who told me they are involved in the schemes which could definitely lessen the advice gap. The planner, who works for an IFA firm, goes into businesses and speaks to its employees and offers them half an hour of free advice through their company. The planner covers as much as possible in 30 minutes and then sends the employees a follow-up email and asks if they have any further questions. The company pays for the advice and its staff gets this session as an extra perk of working for the firm. The IFA firm has been doing this for 8 years. The planner tells me some people do not know where to get good advice, and so these sorts of programs help. This is not a common perk of a job, and even companies that do offer the service offer it irregularly to staff every year. The planner I spoke to says not a lot of companies facilitate such a service. Still, when a company does, the planner can speak to 50-60 people at one time when they visit the firm or speak via Zoom. Some firms do offer this sort of service annually. Some of the staff who come see the planner already have an advisor but just want to ensure they have been told the right thing. The planner says there have only been 1 or 2 times in the past 8 years where they have disagreed with what an employer has been told by another advisor. A huge advice gap exists due to rules and regulation of the past 15 years, the planner says. I think it would absolutely help if bigger companies offered this to staff. In June 2023, Doug Brody, founder and chief executive of retirement advice firm Chancery Lane, said something similar. He claimed that the advice gap could be closed if rules around advice are relaxed and the financial ombudsman service disbanded. Current regulation, he suggested, hampers efforts to provide valuable advice to millions of people on low income. Advisors have often argued that it is impossible to provide affordable advice due to the regulatory burden imposed on them by the Financial Conduct Authority and the Financial Services Compensation Scheme levies. They both drive up professional indemnity insurance costs. The planner adds that this sort of program can also help people's perception of planners, as they believe they are often viewed as archaic. Still, they say the free bit of advice employees get through the company tends to be the first taste of advice. Personally, I can see how this would help non-advised gain access to an advisor. In one of my previous weekend essays, I admitted to never having a conversation with a financial advisor regarding my money or personal situation. This sort of scheme would definitely open the door for me. In July 2023, FCA Chief Executive Nico Raffi said artificial intelligence can play a role in tackling the advice gap. He explained more accurate information delivered to everyday investors could result in not just the wealthiest customers who can afford bespoke advice. I don't disagree with the FCA boss, and from speaking to those who are trying to implement AI into advice, it can clearly help to reduce costs. Personally, if my company offered me access to a free bit of advice for half an hour, I would definitely take it. As the planner I spoke to says, it would be my first taste of advice. I'd also prefer this to using AI, Nikhil, as I think I would enjoy having face-to-face advice from a planner to help me along my financial journey. I hope this does help a bit in closing the advice gap, or at least leads to some ideas for planners on how to tackle it.
Thanks, Darius, for another insightful Weekend Essay podcast. We do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website, as well as our print edition Money Marketing magazine, so make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. See you next time.